incident that evolved this evening came in at about 5:30. And we want to also tell you, we're talking about people's family members. We're talking about people's neighbors. And so we want to be very careful about what we show you right now, because this scene is fluid, it is evolving, and there are lives that have been taken tonight, family members who are probably still learning the awful, awful news about what transpired here, the details of which we are still trying to put together. Our Matt Gregory is in the newsroom, though, helping our team to kind of give you a better idea of what's happening.
Yeah, so Matt, what are you learning right now?
I mean, within the last, I would say 5 minutes or so, video is starting to come in that we're working to confirm, and I want to be very clear about that right now at this point. We have video that we are looking at. We're not going to show you yet because we don't have it confirmed, but in the video it does appear to show two men with long guns walking through what looks like, with that road right there, which is Olde Greenwich Road, which is where you're seeing that heavy police presence. Now, with talking with officials and speaking with some of our sources on the ground, that area there, Lafayette Boulevard, which is kind of the main thoroughfare on your way to Fredericksburg, that area is where the police have kind of set up their staging and their rescue area along with fire and rescue. Now, when we got this call and we were looking into it, there were multiple ambulances called out within, minutes of this information coming out. We're working to get more information about, like you said, what led up to the shooting, what precipitated, where the suspects are. But as of right now, the sheriff's office saying they do not have any suspects in custody. If you're looking at the video of the chopper, or from our chopper cam, what you can tell is this is a heavily wooded area, right? And this is sort of like a cul-de-sac area with, there's a cul-de-sac area that you can see right here. This is one of the neighborhoods. This is Olde Greenwich Road. Now, there are sort of forest areas to the left and right, wooded areas off to the left of what you're seeing on your screen right there. And you can see, by the way, with the crime scene tape there, kind of the different areas where they focus the investigations. It looks like it's on 3 to 4 different sections of townhouses there. One of the things I wanted to be able to point out to you is that in a situation like this, you'll generally have one unit that's taken over. And when we were working to get this confirmed, we found that Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office, they're the ones who are controlling this investigation. Fredericksburg City Police, they have been called in as backup to help. And the Virginia State Police are also sort of assisting in some manner, but for the most part, this is a Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office investigation. Now, as we've been working to learn more information, we know that many of the folks in this area have been moved back further as the investigation has spread. Now, in a situation like this, generally speaking, one of the things that you're kind of looking at when it comes to this is what witnesses are on the ground. You can see some folks, we're able to get close, but one of the things that we do want to stress is that we're not pushing in further with our Sky 9 camera because our pilot has confirmed to us there are 2 bodies on the ground there. Like I said, this is a very fluid situation. We're learning the details of this as we go through with you, working to get information. But like Lorenzo and Leslie were saying, these are people's family members. These are all someone who is a member of a family, of a neighborhood, of a community that has been taken this afternoon. Now, we do know, and I want to reiterate again, 3 people dead so far reported, 3 taken away by an ambulance. That's the latest what we're getting right there, and kind of off to the side on the way out by the ambulance. If you're looking at the top of the screen there, you can see crews are starting to come in to the area. Forensics teams are going to be going over the scene, right? Looking for bullet casings, looking to see if there's any sort of relationship between this and other shootings. You're going to have detectives going door to door. One woman did send us video, and I'm stressing this again, we've not had it confirmed yet, but she sent us video that appears to show her from inside one of these townhomes seeing 2 people who appear to have guns going through the neighborhood. Again, we're not going to show that to you until we confirm it, but I want you to know that's what we're working on. That's what we're seeing back here at the station. We're kind of sifting through, if you will, all sorts of different information as well as different video. And you can see it's a very heavy police presence. Where the actual staging area is, where they're starting to block off and kind of gather, is actually at a gas station of Sheets, which, as you can see, as the chopper moves and kind of turns the camera around, you see it's quite far from the actual neighborhood of Olde Greenwich. The Olde Greenwich neighborhood right there. But yeah, this is where everyone has been kind of funneled to in order to sort of begin the process of getting the logistics on the ground, the strategic moves as this investigation ramps up. Again, I want to report that the Sheriff's Office in Spotsylvania County is reporting 3 people killed in a shooting and 3 victims transported to local hospitals. No suspects apprehended at the time as of right now. And they're asking, as you can see with how far away they are with their staging area, for for the public to stay clear of the area. And guys, that's what we're seeing in the newsroom. I'm going to keep making some calls. We're working the assignment desk, especially around the clock, to really make sure we're able to bring you the most accurate information, but also the earliest information you can expect in this investigation. Back to you guys in the studio.
Yeah, Matt, thank you for that. I mean, there's some real urgency around trying to get some answers here, because what is clear is whoever is behind this, whether it's a person or persons behind this violence tonight, they have not been caught. And so this call's coming in at 5:30 in the evening. People are headed home. Some may be still trying to get to their homes. As you can see that pretty huge perimeter there, we can kind of see people kind of congregating in some areas. It may be detectives, it may be people who are learning that they will not be able to get into their homes at least for some time.
Yeah, and looking at the posture of the police presence here, as we've heard from the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office spokesperson, they don't have a suspect or suspects in custody right now, so it is pretty clear that more than likely they are searching for someone in this case. If not, most of these officers that you're looking at right here, these apparatus, this all would have been concentrated on that neighborhood where we saw those townhomes where we believe this shooting occurred shortly after 5:30 this evening. But again, as we've been talking about, they have to talk to witnesses at this point to figure out what happened. I spoke with someone who works at that Sheetz, and a lot of other folks in the town are saying the same thing. We saw a lot of police officers just racing down Lafayette Boulevard. They're wondering what's going on, what's happening here. Well, as of right now, we can tell you that 3 people are dead in an area where this is not as common. 3 people dead in this residential area, 3 people taken to the hospital as well.
Small town where everybody knows everybody and has a general sense of how things are moving. You can see how this has to be very disconcerting for the community there, for people waiting for answers, for people who can't get close to their homes, for people who are learning, sadly, that their loved ones are not going to come home tonight, and certainly not in the way that they had hoped. And then, of course, we're still waiting to find out about the status of the 3 people who were transported to the hospital. What we do not know is what started this stream of violence that we are talking to you about and still trying to piece together. Initially, we thought that there were several scenes here involved, and so you can see with all that tape, and as the pilot is sort of pulling out to show you all these areas where police and investigators and first responders have kind of all come in here to figure things out, that this is not just one small stretch of this area or community.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the tricky part. And we should point out here, with this large police presence, we are the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office telling us right off the bat, telling everyone in this area to stay away, try and avoid it if at all possible, because they are investigating. They're trying to talk to people who were in the area during the time of the shooting. And if they are searching for someone, or the shooter or shooters in this case, they want to be able to find those folks quickly. So when you start congregating, when you have folks gathering in these areas to figure out what's happening, they really are impeding the efforts by these law enforcement officers.
You do see a few cars moving there, but obviously the majority of the traffic in that area has really come to a standstill, which is why they are telling people not to come in the area. We're still working to get information, including information to pass on to people who happen to live in that particular housing development there. It looks to us to be a townhome development. It could be a mix of townhomes, apartments. Again, these are all things that we're still working to confirm, but hoping to get some information for folks who have questions about whether they can get into their homes tonight and what that looks like for them as they too are waiting for answers.
And I'm sure piecing this together is a bit tricky as well, because you saw the police presence near those townhomes.
Right.
We showed you the Sheetz gas station where they're sort of setting up a staging area, but then the shopping center as well, you saw the police presence there. So trying to understand why these areas are critical to this investigation. That's what we're waiting to learn, hopefully in the next couple of minutes or so. But Matt, we know that you're getting answers from the newsroom as well, checking in with sources and making calls. What more do you know? Okay, looks like we're going to work on his audio there. But again, what we're learning, 3 people dead in this community. Talk about the shock and how much that's going to change this area.
Yeah, 3 people dead, 3 people transported to the hospital. This is obviously, as we're on the air, an active situation where some sort of shooting has occurred. We don't know what started this. We don't know how many people are involved. And most importantly, police don't seem to have any idea of where these people are who are believed to be behind the violence. Our Matt Gregory's in the newsroom. Matt, I think we got your your microphone working there. What do you know?
I mean, like you were talking about, let's kind of set up a timeline right now of what we know and what we've been learning as we go through this. So around 5:30, that's when the Spotsylvania Sheriff's Office says that the shooting that's when the report of the shooting came out. Now, we were keeping tabs back here in the newsroom. We were hearing about it probably within a few minutes, and around 5:42 is when we hear this call come out for multiple ambulances. And I'm telling you, it was about 5 or 6 is what I'm hearing across, the dispatch. And as we kind of go through this process, we slowly learned a bit more. We're talking to sources on the ground. They're telling us what they're seeing, a heavy police presence. We're hearing reports of multiple dead. That was what we got confirmed through a state senator through the area. So it's been a process over the last, I would say, hour and a half or so. But let's take you right now, and I want to show you this because this is what's happening. This is unfolding as we speak. This is the scene right here. It is a typical townhouse neighborhood here off Olde Greenwich Road. And what we're seeing, especially in the middle right there, those are sort of your police cars that are Spotsylvania County Sheriff's officers, an ambulance off to the side. We're not going to go tighter because, like I said before, there are still bodies on the ground. That's what our pilot has said, our helicopter pilot has told us, so they're staying back. The other information we're working to confirm, so we called businesses in the area. We talked to folks there. They said, yes, they've heard lots of things. We're now confirming that 3 people are dead, that 3 people are on their way to the hospital, if not at the hospital right now. What caused this? That's a part that we still do not have any information on from police. We're asking them about that. In the same time, police have said they don't have any suspects apprehended, so they're asking the public to stay away from this area because if this has already happened, it's very much a not safe scene for people to be near, especially the public. But the video we're working to get confirmed, I want to be very clear about this, is coming from one of these townhomes, and it does purport to show 2 people with long guns walking through the neighborhood, and then at some point, something that sounds to me, just listening to it, like gunshots goes off and they start to run with these guns. We're going to work to get that confirmed. At the same time, we've seen other video that we still have to work through of the police officer's initial investigation, as well as what I'm sad to say looks like several bodies under sheets. This is a situation that we're learning more tragically about by the minute. We have our crew at the assignment desk calling everyone. Like I said, we call businesses, we talk to neighbors, we get as much as we can as an aggregate of the investigation that we can bring to you as we continue to work with our police sources to get those confirmed. But you can see here the investigation, and if you're looking in the bottom corners, there is a device that the forensics team is using that's it basically takes kind of a snapshot of what's happening, because when you're doing these investigations and there are shootings, they're trying to track every sort of bullet that may have been spilled out. There will obviously be casings, and the casings can be matched to a specific gun. I don't know if that's been made clear a lot. I know we talk about it when we talk about shooting scenes, but the way that ATF as well as the police will go through this is they will look at every single casing that they can find, and on the back is where the actual firing pin of the gun has made an indentation. It's actually quite unique, and that allows them to track these guns. So that's something they're doing as they're looking at that. We see multiple cars with doors open. It looks like this is just a scene that police are still grasping to get a hand on, and you can see it's blocked off several different sections. So if you're looking at it right here, you have one section here where there's not a whole lot of police presence, one down here where there seems to be more investigators, more forensics teams. That's where we believe the focus of the shooting is. It's right here in this area, and that's kind of what we're learning as we go through every second, every minute. Now, so some other folks we're going to reach out to. We're going to continue checking with our sources that are on the ground. We're also going to continue checking with the police, the sheriff's office rather, in Spotsylvania. They're offering a little bit of information here and there that we do know. The chopper, as you can see, is giving us great vantage points of what's happening, but we're working to get more information. And I'm going to throw it back to you guys here because I got to make some more calls and work with some of the folks here in the assignment desk to see what we've been able to confirm within the last couple of minutes or so. But that's what we're seeing so far, guys.
And I think a key point that you mentioned there, Matt, is that they're not going to leave any stones unturned here. You saw the police officers, sheriff's deputies traversing that neighborhood looking for any and all clues. Matt mentioned this video that we're trying to get verified for those of you at home to figure out if it is authentic and it is showing what Matt spelled out there. But if it is, that is going to be key to these investigators too. You're talking about a neighborhood, presumably people captured this on their phones. They have doorbell cameras as well, which may have captured what played out in this neighborhood.
We are talking to you at 7:45 about yet another mass shooting situation in this country, in a community that has pierced the place of peace for people in their homes in the Olde Greenwich Circle community in Spotsylvania. Some of them may have just been arriving home from work. Others may be still getting there. And sadly, many are getting the news tonight that their loved ones are not coming home, certainly not in the way that they had anticipated. And others are learning that their loved ones have been wounded in a violent situation that erupted here. We don't know much more than that. We don't know what started it. We don't know what's behind it. What we do know is that lives have been altered tonight by these actions of whoever decided to do this, and that there is a huge effort right now to try and connect the dots and get answers for families who are desperate for them tonight. We will continue to follow what is happening in this Spotsylvania County community. We are waiting right now, Zoe, I think, for some sound from a witness who appeared to see something occur.
Yeah, we're waiting to hear from that person as we try to piece this together as well. But Les, you talked about, folks arriving home or getting home after this reported shooting occurred. And you talk about your neighborhood. You hear about these shootings often, and they're usually somewhere else, at a business, a mall, at a school. But when you talk about your home, your neighborhood, this is a sacred space, and it just takes on a different form.
It sure does. I think we have the sound from the witness, or we're working on that. We'll work to get that for you.
Yeah.
But again, as we wait here for some answers, and I know that Spotsylvania County Police are probably going to be speaking at some point about what they know. We will, of course, be following that and bringing that to you.
And again, we talk about this number here, 3 people dead, 3 injured. We don't know the ages of the people involved here.
Right.
We still don't know who they are, how many people are truly impacted by all of this, but we're waiting for that information from the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office. You saw those images from Sky 9 there. They have a lot on their hands right now, a lot to figure out, if in addition to finding the suspect in this case.
Yeah, if you had plans to go in that area, you know that area, police are asking you not to go in that direction right now. We are attempting to still get information for families that may live in that area and may not be able to get in. I think we're hearing right now that we have sound from a witness. We'd like to let you hear it.
Okay, so can you just take me through what you can see right now?
Right now, you can just see the sheriffs all talking, all the policemen talking, and just looking over the scene, really.
And you said you could see at least 2 white sheets.
At least 2, and I think I see a third between the 2 red cars.
Okay. And then you said that it looked like there were some cars that were shot up as well?
It just looks like 1, possibly. I can't really tell by the looks of it, but the only thing I can see right now is just that 1 car that's got bullet holes in the window.
Oh my gosh. Okay, just tell me your reaction to seeing something like this in your neighborhood.
I mean, obviously shock. It's a uncommon scene, especially coming home from a long ride, not really expecting this.
How long have you lived in the neighborhood?
I've lived here since 2019.
Okay. And never anything like this?
Nope, nothing. It's the first time.
I'm sure it's a really scary situation for you. How are you feeling right now?
I mean, I'm definitely anxious because I have 2 children, but my wife and children are up in Indiana right now visiting family, so I'm not really worried about that. I'm just anxious right now because, there's cops outside and things going on, and they're still looking for somebody.
Have they told you
That's
if
all.
you're like in a lockdown or anything like that?
Not locked down per se, but I did overhear the officers instruct people just to go back inside,
Okay.
just to reduce the crowd.
Gotcha. Okay. When you were coming back, did they tell you, tell you to stay anywhere, or they just let you through?
Well, because I live in the corner, they didn't really tell me to do anything.
Okay.
They didn't really instruct me, or I didn't really talk to anybody. I kind of just went around my business.
Gotcha. And when you can see where this all happened, it all looks like it happened outside. Is it another townhome? Is it part of the community you're in?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. What is
But
the
it looks
name?
like
Yeah, go ahead.
the majority of the scene is outside in the middle of the street.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What is the name of the townhome community that this is all in?
Olde Greenwich Circle, the Olde Greenwich
Gotcha.
community back here.
Yeah, that's a person who lives nearby, Travis there, talking about Olde Greenwich Circle, saying he's shocked and anxious right now after seeing this scene in his neighborhood.
Yeah, he called it an uncommon scene. He kind of stumbled upon this after a long ride. He said he's got a wife and children who aren't there right now, but as you mentioned, no one anticipates this kind of thing happening. That was a neighbor named Travis speaking a short time ago with our colleague and reporter, Katie Lusso. Again, many probably echoing the sentiments of many neighbors in that community tonight, some who were home when this happened, others who may attempting to get home, all of them just really shocked and shaken.
And trying to figure out who's involved.
Right, shaken by the fact that 3 people, they could be their neighbors. We don't know that either. We really don't know much about the victims at this point.
Yeah, and adding to the anxiety is not understanding or not knowing if the person who carried this out, this shooting, has been captured yet. We still have not heard from the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office. Again, most of this happening shortly after 5:30 today, so this has been underway for about 2 hours. This scene right here on Olde Greenwich Circle, this is still fresh for those investigators. They are still trying to piece all of this together, but also do it in a sensitive nature as well because of what we're talking about here. Again, 3 people dead in this neighborhood, 3 people injured as well, but many people impacted.
All right, our Matt Gregory has been working this from the epicenter of our newsroom over by the assignment desk, making calls, trying to get information, talking to sources. Matt, tell us what you know at this point.
It's much of the same. Katie Lusso is on the ground, so she'll be able to gather more from there. But what we've been able to discern is that, starting at 5:30, that's when this happened. 3 people shot, 3 people wounded. We're working to figure out, and this is the point of the investigation, we want to know, who police believe to be responsible, at least what the outbreak, the initial reason for the shooting was. We're working to get that information, but as of yet, Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office hasn't offered a motive or even an inflection point of when this turned from whatever it was into a shooting. What we've been able to kind of discern, especially from hearing Travis talked about that, was that, like I was showing you, the center, the focus of this investigation, if you look at the scene from our chopper video, appears to be right down the heart of this road here, Olde Greenwich Road, that is, it's a townhome community, like he said, that as he put is relatively, he said, calm, and he doesn't hear things like this often. This was quite shocking to him. I think it would be shocking for anyone, quite frankly, to have this happen. But as we were moving through our information, it was probably about 10 minutes or so after the shooting, we got the calls here into the station that about 6 ambulances had been dispatched. That's kind of where we were working on with that. Now, as far as what we're learning in terms of what the presence is like on the ground right now, people there are telling us that police are asking them to either stay, one woman we spoke with was staying in her home. Is that right, Chris? Staying in her home? Yeah, staying in her home while they're doing this investigation. One of the people in the townhome community, that's our assignment editor, Chris Mulholland, helping me here. We also spoke with her husband, who's quite worried about her because she's right there. Because there are no suspects, nothing in mind, that kind of puts an even more sort of dangerous equation or a factor into this equation, let's say, a more dangerous equation where folks are not only being told to keep out of the area to not tamper the investigation, but also for their own safety. So as we go through the scene, I want everyone to kind of keep that in mind, that that's what we're dealing with right now. It's not only an active investigation, but we're dealing with a potential suspect search. And that's very critical to the investigation as well. As we're going through, we're going to get some more information. And like I said, I know I keep talking about it, but guys, this is a process, right? We have to make sure we confirm things before we tell them to you. We've seen multiple videos on the ground. We want to make sure those are confirmed, and we want to make sure that they're acceptable to show on air. But that's what we're working on right now. As I get more, I'll set it back to you guys.
Yeah, we should be hearing from the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office at any moment now to figure out exactly what happened here, and we will bring that to you as soon as we get it.
We sure will. And just a reminder here, we're talking about this in terms of police and tape and when these all happen, but ultimately there are families whose lives have been altered in ways that we can't fully appreciate right now. 3 people who are not going to make it home, 3 people who are in the hospital right now, and families desperate for answers. We're going to continue to follow this tonight. You can expect more from WUSA 9 on these.
And we will be in our streaming app as well. We'll see you later.